Okay, so I guess we're back. Charlton, can you confirm? Are we back on Facebook? I think we're back live on Facebook. I can see it on Facebook. Okay, so we are back. Thank you very much, everybody, for your patience, and sorry for the interruption. As we've introduced all the speakers, I also like to welcome everybody on Zoom. We have a bunch of people that are watching us on Zoom as well. So welcome everybody. And moving on what we are going to be discussing today. That's me, Vijay Thomas. I'm the Vice President, Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce, also the CEO of Tangentia. We're an IT company that has operations in India, US, and Canada. And I am based in Canada, and I have some investments in real estate in India. And this is something that I will be very listening to all our panelists very eagerly. So I think this is and there's a lot of people like me in Canada that are also interested in real estate in India. So I think it's going to be a very, very good discussion today. So moving on to what we're going to be talking about today. The Indian real estate offers an incredible opportunity to the Indian diaspora. There's a bunch of things. One is it's not just emotional. All of us that are first generation Indians in Canada, or even second generation, we have an umbilical cord that ties us to India. So anything in India, there is reasons why you can buy, which are emotional reasons to buy in India. But I think a lot of people today on this panel are also going to give you very rational reasons to buy in India. The emotional reason is an easy sell, right? You've got to go buy in your motherland, go buy it. I mean, whatever be the cost, is it an investment? It's not an investment. But I think we're looking at real estate investment opportunities today. So those of us, it's a stable investment avenue. The depreciation of Indian rupee definitely has made it easier for people from the Indian diaspora. And again, substantial rationalization of property prices, and you can get decent rental yields and capital appreciation. So rental yields used to be the bane of property investment in India, which is very low, but rental yields have started going up, and which is something that we will hear from our experts. So who are going to be speaking today again? Sunil Pandey, Pawan, Ghai, Sandeep Goyal, and then all of you in the audience on Zoom or on Facebook, please send in your questions. We will have a question and answer session, and we'll try to take as many of your questions as possible. So before we get on, I just wanted to spend some time on the ICCC Small Business Assist Program. Now, this is a free phone-in counseling session that we provide at the ICCC. If you're a small business or an individual looking to start a business and you need some help, you can give us a call. We will connect you to one of our experts at the ICCC. Either a board member or non-board member has volunteered to help out, and we will get you the help. So all you got to do is send an email to iccc@icconline.org and type Small Business Assist Program in the subject line, and we will take care of you. So moving on. So we have a small disclaimer that we want to put out there. The information provided at this webinar is conducted by the ICCC for general information purposes only and does not constitute legal or professional advice. And furthermore, the views expressed by the speakers are their own personal opinion and does not necessarily reflect the official position or policy of the ICCC. So without further ado, we will move to our first speaker. We have Sunil Pandey, who is a CA and CMA and a co-founder of Arth, Vritt Capital. Sunilji, over to you. You might have to unmute yourself.
Greeting friends, Jai Hind. A big hello to all from your motherland. Good morning in Canada to all of you joining from Canada, and very good evening from all who are joining from India. So I'm grateful. I feel grateful to office bearers of our ICC, and special thanks to office bearers. Also welcome my co-panelists. So I think I should be starting with a share because it's a real estate subject and I'm from Lucknow. The subject, the feeling for the subject for me is फिर उसी बेवफा पे मरते हैं, फिर वही जिंदगी हमारी है. So back in India, it's very interesting situation where on the one hand, widespread infection is there, vaccine is still awaited. We now and then keep hearing sad news because of corona infections. Good amount of business is still struggling to come out of impact. But on the other hand, we have learned how to live with it, the COVID thing. We are going out for work. Banking system and government is supporting businesses. Cash flows are improving. And we are becoming more hopeful with every passing day. Coming back to real estate, which is the subject of today, real estate investment opportunity in India. The good news is that worst is over. So friends, I wish to start with a tag that worst is over. And when it is time that prices are at rock bottom, I feel that we should get initiated as investor for our search for appropriate investment in real estate. So before COVID, we were gung-ho about real estate, infra, and 5 trillion economy story for India. So this decade belongs to India. And I feel that despite of all these COVID thing currently, the moment vaccine gets announced, a lot of things will come back sooner than we think. So what I feel personally, coming from a real estate background, I have been CFO of different real estate companies for more than a decade. So I feel that price will start returning sooner than we think. When we think of real estate investment, we mostly think about residential real estate, and it's a very few situation where we think financial investment in financial instrument. So the large chunk of investment goes to residential housing segment, and for me this is the best time if we are going to buy it for end use. So of course the way uh, earlier speaker told that umbilical cord is always attached and we get emotional about investment in India. So I feel residential prices have not been rising for last 5 years, but this is the time when COVID had impacted, and now currently in India, residential prices are at rock bottom. This is a time we should utilize. And there are few statistics I have researched which are reflecting that Hyderabad and Bangalore are even being prioritized before Bombay. So Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Bombay, these are few areas in India which are attracting NRI's interest, although Canada forms only 5% of total NRI interest vis-a-vis global investment. But even then, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai, from my side, and not only the city, the localities of these cities are very important. Like for example, I said that prices in India in residential real estate have not been rising. But when you analyze prices of residential flats around Navi Mumbai airport, you will find that it has risen more than double in last 5 years. So we need to be sensitive about particular localities of city. We should not be over generalizing the situation. Currently, vis-a-vis residential real estate investment, NRIs are preferring completed projects than under construction project. Many of NRIs are stuck up in under construction project where I feel a lot of barter deals are happening. In some cases, they are negotiating with builders for shifting their properties from under construction project to their completed projects. So a lot of barter possibilities are there. You should be considering this option. And last but not the least, because uh, the trend is as such that people are now more emotional about residential real estate investment. Uh, they are looking for, earlier money was the sole consideration in investment, but currently it is being seen that lifestyle is taking priority. Can I request for next slide, please? Yeah. So I have already mentioned that investors who are stuck up in under construction property and it's not rolling, I have already mentioned for solutions, which is barter deal. And if the case requires, we must be booking losses marginally and then rolling over to uh, better projects which are complete. So something around is happening, and in case you are badly stuck up, my recommendation is to consult with your RERA expert. And there might be some solutions which can help you reaching to builder in a better way and negotiating better. So this is one of the recommendation from my side. COVID has been bad to universe, to the globe, but there are few positive sides to it, and I would like to mention them. Now, earlier it was tech supported, and now it is going to be tech led. So the kind of the way we were seeing real estate, it needs to be changed. So earlier, when we were depending on few consultant we have known for decades, believe me, they will be replaced in very short time, because aggregators, tech enablers, they are coming in a big way. You need not to present in India to search and see and understand the project. So many of the things would be tech enabled, not vis-a-vis sales and marketing of the project, but also construction and operation side. So this will be the hallmark of your selection of the project builder and the brand. Second thing is that, of course, COVID has impacted, and work from home is a new norm. So a lot of things are changing around commercial real estate, offices, and many more things will be changes. I see a situation, you already are working from home. You're not going, many of you are not going to offices. Think about a situation when you can all do whatever you are doing from India, sitting in India. So it will change the whole dynamics, and it is going to change the dynamics. So this is a second submission from my point of my side. Third is prices are of course at bottom. I don't see any correction further. Things are improving. Projects are rolling out. Banking system is giving support to uh, credible builders. So project completion, it will all move for project completion. And then the fourth point is pace of consolidation is going to increase. So I'm talking of a situation where there is a dichotomy, and some many of the builders are struggling to find a way, while as some branded builders, some large scale builders are in a comfortable situation. They are having many options to acquire these projects, and there are many consolidation happening in real estate. So you should be analyzing them and understanding it. Finally, COVID has brought interest rate to this 6.9% level, and eventually in some cases where government subsidy is available, it is -3 again percentage. So it becomes a great incentive if compared with whatever rate of interest you can afford back in Canada with the forex top up. I think it's coming very near to this interest rate. Can I request? Yes. So this is a very important slide from my side. I'm suggesting first precaution, and then we'll be moving on investment opportunities. So there are three precautions from my side. One, uh, I feel there is a necessity of moving from herd mentality. So we have been, NRI have been a community who have been following their leaders who were again connected to few consultants in India or few developers in India. The point which I am putting here, probably because of technology, you need to be more research focused before you decide on project and investments. The second thing which I would like to mention is that many of us know that, and it has been repeated many times, that if we want to earn in real estate, we need to be stay long term. But my precaution is that don't marry your property. So it's better to be flirtatious and keep earning. So be in real estate, of course, you have your some amount of total portfolio in real estate, but keep on churning different options being available. One of it is REIT. I will be discussing, which is a very, very good opportunity. So my suggestion would be that we also need to think from shifting from a physical investment to financial investment. And third, which is very, very important now, uh, brand was always important in real estate, but now it has become more and more important. In this phase of consolidation, you need to be very sure about the brand, and many of the big brands in India are consolidating the things in a big way. You need to be cautious about brands, and for assessment of the brand, you need to take care of many things which goes to make a company a branded company. uh, Last, investment opportunities. So I propose 5 6 options for you. Many of it might have already explored on your part, but recently it has been a trend that people are offering investment option where property is pre-leased and it can fetch you around 12 to 15% return. There are a lot of you can find some platforms, technology platform. You already have seen platforms like Magic Brick Bus, but there are few technology platform coming up which are straight away giving you option, showing your project, the amount of investment, the kind of rental it has. And believe me, rental is not all about commercial thing. Many of the projects in India are aspiring for having rental income in their residential project. So this is something coming up. Of course, residential rental are very, very less, but there are options. You need to search for it, locality wise, project wise. Of course, brand of builder is very, very important. The second thing which I would like to mention in detail is REIT. So read it out. I have mentioned it here in the presentation. REIT is one of the good opportunity, and it is subset of the financial investment I'm mentioning in real estate segment. If you could analyze till date in India, there are two uh, REIT listed. One was Embassy some 1.5 year before, and then recently Mindspace REIT has got listed. If you could analyze their returns, the first REIT was listed at around 314 rupees. It had gone up to 500 rupees per unit price, and it has already fetched on a yearly basis 22 to 24 rupees on this 314. So point is that there are options which are very secure, regulated, and on the one hand, it can be offering more than 6 7% as rental, and there are options of there are possibilities of having capital appreciation as well. uh, I'm from real estate and I have been working for long. I have never seen a situation where real estate builders and many people around real estate are counting. I have never seen any RR below 15%. To my mind, when it comes to NRIs earning, they why this kind of return is being not passed is something I will also try to explore in the discussion. But the thing is that there are ample opportunity of investment. You need to uh, you need to arrive at a person. I'm not talking about the project. You need to find good people who having good analytical and technical abilities to reach out to these kind of possibilities. So for example,
Sunilji, I'll have to cut you off there. We're out of time, but
yeah,
we've got to get the other speakers. We'd like to have you for more discussions as
one minute,
we
I'm
get.
summing it up.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I will have to cut you off. We will give you time later. So moving on. Sorry, I just have to be a little ruthless. We have other speakers here as well. So
no problem.
moving on, our next speaker is Pawan Ghai, Sales Representative and Director, India Desk, Sotheby's International Realty Canada. So here is a person in Canada selling real estate in India. So, over to you, Pawanji. We will love to hear from you. And Sunilji, we will come back to you in the question answer.
Thank you, Vijay, and thank you, Sunil, for a lovely presentation. Hello, friends. A very good morning to all in Canada and a very good evening to friends who have logged in from India and all fellow panelists. As you know, my name Pawan Ghai. I worked in financial and real estate sector in India for around 2 decades and currently working as Director of India Desk in Sotheby's International Realty Canada, based out of Toronto. First of all, I'd like to thank Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you today. I would like to start my presentation by sharing background about our company, what we do, and how can we add value to NRIs in Canada looking to invest in Indian real estate. As most of you would know, Sotheby's is fairly old organization, started way back in 1744, so it is a 76-year-old organization, started in London, and since has become the largest global auction house, helping clients in acquisition and disposition of art, precious gems, jewelry, vintage cars, vintage wines, watches. And around 44 years back in 1976, Sotheby's International Realty was started by Sotheby's, our parent company, with a focus to provide solution to our clients for their high-end real estate requirements. And since then, we have steadily increased the business. Since then, and in 2019, we have achieved a global sales volume of around 114 US billion dollars. In the last 14 years, we have grown. Sotheby's network has grown to about 1,000 offices worldwide in 72 countries with 23,000 sales associates on the ground. Having said that, this is our very, very unique and key strength that we have a global presence in almost 72 countries. And of course, we have a strong presence in Sotheby's India and Sotheby's Canada as we speak. And the key strength of our global network has led to this unique proposition that what we are offering today is by setting up an India desk in various geographies. We started up with this model, the Sotheby's India started up with this model, with setting up a first desk in London, which was very, very successful. And then we expanded it to Dubai, US, and now since 2018, a little over 2 years, that I have set up this India desk in Canada, and running this desk primarily to help NRI community, local NRI community, to invest or take care of their real estate requirement in Canada. And at the same time, NRIs based out of Canada, when they want to invest back home in India, that is where we come, and I refer them to our colleagues in India, Sotheby's India, and they take care of their real estate requirement back home. So moving to this slide that talked about NRI investment in India, just to give you brief numbers on what kind of a size of real estate we have in India. The real estate received around 16.6 billion worth of foreign direct investment, FDI, in 2015 to 2019, the last 5 years. And in particularly last year in 2019, India has got 6.2 billion investment in real estate. Out of that, 78% has come through foreign investors. And as we talk about foreign investors, they comprise of FDIs, and NRIs are the major source of investment in India, particularly in real estate. And as you can see, the share pie of each NRI community representing or investing in India, UAE is among the highest with 20%, followed by USA 18, UK 7, and we from Canada invest close to about 6% in Indian real estate market. So we continue to see that Mumbai and Bangalore are the top two destinations for RE investments. But recently we have seen a strong trend emerging, that what even Sunil just also mentioned about, that we are looking at a lot of interest coming from NRI investors to invest into tier 2 and tier 3 cities, such as Kochi, Coimbatore, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Trivandrum, Chandigarh, and Pune. So this trend is emerging very, very fast. And not only this, what other thing that, I was talking to my colleagues in Sotheby's, India, and they were sharing with us that there is a lot of interest from, apart from local Indian, from NRI community, that they are getting a lot of queries for the vacation homes in mainly into hills of North India, or into kind of villas that they want to buy in Goa. So that's a strong trend which we have seen here in Canada, that a lot of people have their second home in terms of cottages on the lake. But at the same time, we are witnessing this trend growing rapidly fast in that NRI want to invest into recreational properties back home in India as well. So whenever they go back home into the sunset years of their life, and they want to enjoy life there, they want to be in a place which is relatively pollution free, and which is primarily into hills or around the sea. That is their first observation. So as we move to the third slide of mine, so I just wanted to briefly touch upon various points, though we all are familiar with how transactions have been done in India, which are very, very different than what we do here in Canada. So I just wanted to cover and touch upon these points very, very briefly. And what has changed in the last few years in India. When I was there, I have witnessed some of these changes myself. So I can talk about that. So RERA, as we all know, it's a Real Estate Regulatory and Development Act, which was come into force in 2017, has, in my opinion, is one of the main game changer for Indian investors who are looking to invest in Canada. And as we all know, that India remained unregulated for a long, long time, and this regulation is really helping and building a lot of confidence into investors, particularly because, as Sunil also mentioned in his presentation, that a lot of Indians or a lot of people locally and internationally have burned their fingers by picking up the relatively investments which have not given them the expected yield what they were looking out from the real estate as an investor. So this RERA is very, very effective now, and like all the developers coming up with a new project have to register with RERA and they have to follow the guidelines. And particularly for primary market, it is working very, very well. Moving to other part is in terms of transaction process. As we all know that India is very, very different. Just wanted to quickly touch upon that there are a few points that one has to understand while investing into India. There are circle rates that one needs to know, that what are these are minimum rates uh, provided by the government for a particular neighborhood, that below this price you cannot have your property registered. So this price basically act as a point for calculating your taxes, your registration cost, and all of the even for calculation of capital gains in long term. So
Pawanji, 10 seconds more, please.
okay. So next is, of course, as we all know, that we have to work very, very closely with a professional real estate advisor with a proven track record. And a lot of international names like Sotheby's and others are setting up shops in India. So one can go through them. And of course, the research about the property development and developer is the key concern here, as we have seen in the recent past. And another point I wanted to quickly touch upon is there is a very limited transparency in terms of what we have here in Canada. In Canada, you have access to data with a touch of button about what's the rate going on in the locality, what was the last transactions happening in and around your neighborhood, which is not so far available in India. So I believe that is a little hurdle for getting a better price discovery in secondary market transaction, which one has to be really careful about. Last and least is one has to, because it's a cross-border transactions we are talking about, so it is eminent to have a tax consultant or a lawyer who can guide you through this process and take you forward in case of any ambiguity you have, because it's very important to you understand what is the local law are governed around the real estate and how it can impact your investments. So since proximity of time, I think I have to conclude my presentation here. And I really wanted to thank again and wanted to save everybody in Canada and in India to maintain social distancing and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Pawanji. So moving on, So we have now our very own Sandeep ji. Sandeep Goel, we're going to call you our own because we see you very often, and you're a big friend and supporter of the Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce. So welcome, Sandeep ji, and we'll, as India's largest private sector bank, I'm sure you have a lot of insights that everybody in the audience would like to listen to. Over to you, Sandeep ji.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks to ICCC team. I think you are doing a great job in bringing this Thursday webinars. It's amazing in terms of the topics, choice of panelists. So it's good. I'm very thankful to you, and warm greetings from Canada to all attendees as well as my fellow panelists. So Indian real estate market, I think, all of us know who want to or aspire to be rich. Real estate is the only asset class which has given consistent returns over longer periods of time. So India is a very good market. We know rate of urbanization is the fastest rate of urbanization in any developing country. So India offers tremendous opportunities for real estate investment. And as you all know, I think India is the second most populous country after China. And the requirement of space, both for office, commercial activities, as well as for residential space, is bound to increase. It is logical to increase. And we have seen increased investments going both into residential real estate assets as well as into commercial real estate assets. And Canada, more from retail NRI space where people have invested. I would say rather pension funds from Canadian government side. They have also from both provincial and federal, I think they have huge focus on real estate in India, and they understand the potential benefits of this large growth opportunity which is there. And we have seen a lot of these pension funds have real estate arms like Oxford Properties, like your CDPQ has a pension fund arm of real estate. And they have done tremendous amount of work and good investments, feet on street in India. So it's a great opportunity. I would say follow the pension funds wherever they are going, because they have a big analyst team which they analyze the trends and they see long-term trends. So if they are going into India, India is the place to be in. And policy support is very, very prudential. I think foreign direct investment rules have been liberalized to attract foreign investment. And needless to say, I think this sector will continue to grow, and we are quite bullish on this. Moving forward, from an NRI standpoint, there are tremendous benefits to NRIs, as I think Sunil also mentioned. Weaker rupee benefits because Canadian dollar can purchase a larger piece of real estate. Homes are affordable. I think all said and done, there is a COVID impact on real estate. Demonetization also has taken money out of real estate assets. So they are fairly priced in the market today. Very, very friendly regulations on tax benefits, both long-term, short-term capital gains. Increased transparency. I think RERA has done wonderful work in terms of bringing good promoters back into the game. And it's a very income generating asset. So like not unlike gold or any other asset which you have in your asset class, which doesn't yield you any returns, real estate is the only asset class which can yield you consistent income returns. So please look at these benefits. Then in terms of ICCC Bank, the kind of offerings we do, we are one of the largest real estate lender. And see, your dreams of real estate cannot be done without the help of a bank. And we are the bank to help you because we are in Canada. We understand your requirements in Canada, and we can handhold you into the Indian real estate market. We have a very good and very efficient feet on street for our home loans products in India. And most of these offerings are online. So you can actually do the property visits online. You can apply for the loan online, and you can get the sanction also online. So most of these facilities are online. So please get in touch with us in case you want to make owning a house in India a dream. We can make it a reality. So that's the message from my side. Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep ji. Very much on time there. Thank you, really appreciate it. Our next speaker is Nawab Mir Nasir Ali Khan. You can call him Nasir. He's asked me for short. He's the managing director, MAC Projects, Hyderabad, India. And we have a small video to play. So, Charlton, if you want to play the video before we hand it over to Nasir.
Good morning, friends in Canada, and good evening to all of you in India. I'm Mir Nasir Ali Khan, Managing Director of MAC Projects, and I'm also the Honorary Consul of Kazakhstan in India. And we are into luxury housing and hospitality business in India. And we are currently developing an integrated township with luxury housing, with a golf course, tennis court, squash court, sports facilities like a cricket ground, multi-purpose ground, and we have a saloon, we have a spa. And during this COVID times, projects like this have a lot of demand because people would want to stay in an independent, and we are ready to move in project. And people would like to live in a place which is independent house, with all the facilities where they really don't have to go out. We have our own clinic, we have a small bank, we have a small branch, and we also have grocery store to support our residents. So we are doing well, and prices have gone up during COVID in gated communities where there are independent houses. And our new segment is we have tied up with the Forest Innovation Investment. It's a crown agency of Government of British Columbia in Canada. We are getting into wood housing. We would like to do luxury wood housing in India in joint venture with FI Canada, which is a crown agency of British Columbia. We're supposed to start the project, but because of COVID, some of the staff who's from Canada are not able to travel to India. So we're getting a little delayed with that project, but we should be starting that. That's a new area where wood is good for the weather, with cold and hot weather, and wood is biodegradable, recyclable, reusable, good for health, environment friendly. And Canada is very famous for the best wood for construction, and they have very good practices, and they offer good product from Canada. So hopefully we will be starting the wood housing. And coming to real estate in Hyderabad, Hyderabad is doing extremely well. I'm not a politician, I'm not interested in politics, but thanks to our local government, they're doing a wonderful job. They have solved the problem of power problem, then water issues, and they're building a lot of infrastructure within the city. And we have some of the best companies, large companies from United States, or all other in Hyderabad. Like we have the Google office, we have the Microsoft, and now we have the Amazon. They are one of the largest offices outside their own country. So that's giving a lot of employment to people locally, and that's improving the demand for real estate in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad is a very safe place, reasonably good weather, good food, and we have good infrastructure in Hyderabad. Like apart from roads, water supply, we have one of the best and the largest convention center in Asia in Hyderabad. We have one of the best business schools in Hyderabad, which is ISP, which is affiliated to some of the best colleges in the United States. We also have very good hotels. We have some of the best schools. We have the international school, which is run in Hyderabad by the part of the United Nations, the International School of Hyderabad. So we have everything going good in Hyderabad, and luckily we are doing very well because of the support from government. And real estate investment in Hyderabad is very safe because government has introduced a lot of, apart from RERA is one, but our state government is very friendly with investors, and they have introduced a lot of new systems in registration and transfer of property. They're all online. In fact, permissions are also online. So that's one part that's helping the real estate in Hyderabad. We have a lot of investors from North America and Middle East. We do also have investors from Canada, but numbers are small. Mostly we have a big investment from United States and UK. So, I think going ahead in the future, because of COVID, people would want to live in an independent house, preferably if they can afford it, a gated community with all the infrastructure, maybe walk to work. And we are also planning to build some office space, and we already have some small retail. So what happens is, we can decongest the city. People don't have to travel; they can walk to work. And again, health is a very big thing now because of COVID. People are focusing more on health. Is the biggest thing globally now. Everybody wants to be in good health and immunity, good sunlight, and fresh air. So our focus is also has always been on healthy living. it's not because of COVID. Our project was also always a healthy living project. When you see the video, a short video when it's presentation, we believe in healthy living. So we provide a lot of open spaces. We have cycling tracks. We have jogging track in our project. We have a golf course. Like I said, we have a playground. That's the focus. And we also have facilities which are other than sports, like theater, spa, saloon, and
So
we have our own ambulance
basically,
service.
If I can just interrupt, so why don't we play the video right now, and then maybe you can conclude after the video. Okay, so Charlton, can you play the video, please?
Yeah.
Can we have the sound? There is no sound, Charlton.
These are the actual pictures of the project. These are the actual houses, live pictures of our playground, our club, our tennis courts. This is an indoor shuttle court. This is a golf course. These are all pictures of the project. It's already completed and ready to occupy.
Okay, thank you. So, Nasir, if you want to just close on that, I think we've seen the pictures there. So you have a quick 10 seconds to cover this, and then we can move to Pramod ji.
We are looking forward to some more international investments from Canada. So I would like to interact closely with the Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce and see what we can do together. Since we already have a joint venture with the Canadian FIA Canada, which is a government agency, for the wood housing, if we can have some kind of a association and we can promote wood housing in Canada, India, in what we're building in India, that would be a good idea. And since Canada knows wood better than anybody else, they have been building wood houses for a long time, and they have some of the best wood houses. I've been to British Columbia. I went to a place called Kelowna and Whistler. I was amazed to see the houses, huge houses, beautiful houses. We would like to do something like that in India. And we have very good support from the FIA and the government of British Columbia.
I'm sure every level of government in India, in Canada, will also be interested, because we can sell and export wood. So that is wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Nasir. So we'll move on to the next session. Sir Nasir, will come back to you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. So Pramod Goyal is the president of the Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce, also the president CEO of Canada-wide Financial Corporation. He needs no introduction. All of us know of him. He's been a wonderful leader here at the ICCC. He's been the president of the last 2 years. And he's been instrumental in us doing a lot of things that we're doing right now. So over to you, Pramod ji.
Thank you, Vijay, and welcome once again, friends, to our weekly webinar series, the Thursday Talks. We have had an insightful presentation for all our esteemed panelists. And I think because of paucity of time, my apologies that you could not go into the depth of what you wanted to say. But I guess all our viewers and our audiences were able to get some insights from that. And of course, you're all experts from your field, so people can connect with you offline as well to take the discussion further. Now, within the limited time that we have, I would like to get into some clarifications or additional information on some of the topics that we've discussed pertaining to the real estate investment and the sector in general in India. So let me begin with Mr. Khan. You mentioned about successfully completing projects in Hyderabad specifically, and also you talked about ongoing projects, especially the wooden housing and all. And I understand you had good success in all your projects. I'm just kind of restricting my discussion to knowing what sort of response. You did touch base briefly that the response from America and UK is pretty good, but I think Canadian response is not as much as you would like to see. So what are the challenges, if you want to just highlight briefly, as to why you see Canadian investment to be on the lower side in your projects or overall investment in the real estate. Even I was listening to Mr. Ghai's presentation. So he also alluded, if I remember correctly, it was 6% of the total NRI investment in real estate in India. So anything you want to add, Mr. Khan, onto that?
Yeah, actually, the reason is America is the big brother. So it's a big country with a large population. So builders have been focusing more on in North America. We've been focusing more on United States, having our so we've been having our road shows in America. It's partly because of us, I guess. We've not been focusing too much on Canada. But now I think Canada is also a good market. We are getting a lot of inquiries from Canada also. So we'd like to, I think it's from the builders to come and promote their projects, have more, exhibitions, road shows. We have a lot of them happening in United States regularly because we have an association like the Telugu Association of North America. I know so many different Telugu associations in North America who are very large and very, aggressive. And Silicon Valley is dominated by people from India. I know it's no news to all of you, but there's a lot of civil engineering, companies in United States, mostly in Silicon Valley, which are dominated by Indians. That's why we tend to go more to west of United States and try to promote. But my last visit to Canada was an eye opener for me when I went to Vancouver. I saw, I met a lot of people from India who were very highly successful and with a very keen interest in India. I met, and they're very successful in politics also. I was very, very surprised to see some very successful politicians from Indian origin. I won't say India, and who've done extremely well and represent us. And they have told me that, we have not been focusing much on Canada. They've invited me. So our next, when we do wood housing, I would like to focus more on Canada than United States. That's our new area of focus. So because of COVID, we've not been able to travel of late. But our next company's next presentation and next exhibition we would like to have in Canada, and not just in Vancouver. We would like to come to Toronto. We would like to go to Montreal. I'm very familiar with Canada because my son goes to school in Canada and University of Waterloo.
So basically,
if
I can gather or summarize, is more to do with marketing and promotion.
Yes, absolutely.
Interest.
There is interest from Canada, but there is, I think we have to really aggressively promote our products in Canada, and I'm sure we'll have very good response from Canada. I have no doubt about it. After my recent visit in early this year, before COVID, to North America, especially Canada, I saw very good interest from Canada, and our focus will shift, I guess, now to Canada from the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Mr. Ghai, Sotheby's, if we talk about in general, is known to be a global luxury brand, whether it's an art auction or in reality. So not me personally, but many in Canada may find surprising that such a brand is interested in the Indian real estate market. Though luxury doesn't mean that it is high price always. So Indian realty prices are high, maybe for certain reasons, not necessarily value addition. So can the Indian market be genuinely identified as a luxury market? That is one, part A. And part B, what's your interest as Sotheby's, taking big in real estate investment in India? You're on mute, Mr. Ghai. Thank you.
For the questions, so I take the first part. Sotheby's, as you rightly said, we focus mostly on the high end, be it of luxury, be it art or jewels or vintage cars, auctions, or real estate. So the primary focus for us at Sotheby's is we cater to a niche market. And you rightly pointed out, India is predominantly a large market, but the luxury segment or within that market is very, very low as of now. Having said that, we have witnessed a strong growth because there are different pockets in all the major cities that we go, and we have seen the interest of people who have achieved or who are on the higher side, or looking for investment in a higher price segments. they want to rely and go with a name which they can associate while they would have done or interact in the previous association through our auction house. So that is of course our key segment. But having said that, we are focusing on the middle tier as well. And since Indian market is big on the middle tier, but in any case, any property as we talk about in India, even in the middle tier, starts with at least 200 or 300,000 Canadian, which is 1.5 to 2 crore these days. So that market I think is fairly large. We know we cannot cater entirely, but we are trying to get inroads through our preferred partners in India, uh, mainly developers who are focusing on the high end as well as a middle tier segment. So definitely we are expanding our reach. We are, as we speak, have a presence in majorly metro cities. So we are now looking at expanding Sotheby's India network through my colleagues there, my friends there. They are looking at even stepping into a tier two or tier three cities, because we are witnessing a lot of action in those cities and we are missing on those action. So definitely that is on our radar, but we are primarily focusing more on the high end, or I would say a luxury segment, which is primarily a $5 million and plus in India.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Mr. Ghai. Sandeep ji, if I can come to you, and as Vijay mentioned, and we all know, ICICI Bank is one of the premier institutions in India and very active here in Canada as well. And so you mentioned in your presentation how the bank can extend support. But if I can ask specifically, when we talk about Indo-Canadians which are based here and they're looking to invest in India, so is ICICI Bank Canada able to facilitate all that transactions for anybody looking to invest in India? I mean, and how smooth is that? I mean,
Yeah, so Pramod, I think till last year, this interaction was physical. So there were some constraints, but over the past 6 months, we have made it all digital. So you search for a property, you get in touch with us. We will put you in touch with the relationship manager in India in a particular zone, whichever you are looking for. And then everything is done online. You fill up the form online, provide all documentation online, and the underwriting is done, and the sanction letter is issued online. So you don't need to actually go there. Only for possession, in case you want to see and see your flat, you can go. But otherwise, like everything is done online. And every interaction you will have somebody from Canada also holding your hand, so that you are not lost. Because typically in India, you get lost. The volume is so much, you are just a number. But for us in Canada, as you know, I think we are very customer centric. So we will ensure that somebody locally in Canada is interacting with the local Canadian customers.
okay, thank you. Well, I think that's a welcome move. I think a lot of Indo-Canadians can take advantage of those facilities. Sunil ji, I think you've been quiet, so let me come back to you. Uh, you're an acknowledged real estate expert in India, and if we look at, I mean, I think there is a lot of questioning around the status when it comes to Indo-Canadians that are settled abroad. Like you have what we call non-resident Indians, of some people who have taken citizenship, foreign nationals, or overseas citizens of India. So, does all these categories, by from a regulatory point of view, have a different meaning when it comes to buying or investing in real estate in India? There are any restrictions, or broadly they are same?
Yeah, so to my knowledge, NRI is a separate category, and most of the regulations are towards NRI as a category. So I don't see any reason, or I have never come across a situation where uh, further segmentation of it has happened. So if you are a person who can be uh, segmented as NRI, all those things which an NRI can do, uh, you can do it. So the further segmentation you are talking about, probably in income tax laws, of course, there are a few things, but when it comes to investment, property investment. So probably there is no such complexity vis-a-vis segmentations.
I see. Okay, that's good to know. Thank
But
you.
as a precaution, because I feel that there should always be a need for interacting with someone who's expert.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Mr. Khan, one of the bigger concerns for anybody that invests in real estate, especially with projects in India, and especially keeping in mind the last few years that we have seen a lot of projects not getting towards completion, getting held up, getting into embroiled in legal, wranglings. A lot of news that we've heard about court cases about a lot of builders groups. So as investor, when the property buyer is not most likely going to be physically present on the property in India for a longer period of time, and there is a real risk in India that people perceive, I would say perceive, that the property rights may not be adequately protected, or they could be encroached upon without any, proper legal recourse or lengthy legal recourse, if I would say. So how can developers like yourself ensure that the property acquisition remains proper business and it's not kind of a hit and miss proposition?
It's a very interesting and very good question. See, there are two things here. One is the developer. You choose a good developer who has a good track record, who's done projects on time, and that's one part. And from the government side, things have changed a lot in the recent times, thanks to Real Estate Regulation Act, which is very tough, and government is watching very closely, and the rules have changed. That's one side. And other thing is the banks, when the ICCC, when they get involved in transaction, they do a lot of scrutiny. They check all banks, not just ICICI, any bank who's funding a project. They do background check of the builder, the project, the permissions, the track record. So it helps to go through a good bank or a good agency. And like I said, things have changed. It's not the same anymore. And earlier there were a lot of issues. I know about a lot of people who have suffered, a lot of people who had problems. But I don't think that's going to be the future, because government is also now very proactive, and they know that NRIs are a very big investor in India, not just in real estate. We need a lot of foreign investment, and which is definitely coming in a big way into India. India is very interesting and very good investment destination, and capital appreciation also is very high in India now. In residential, the returns are also good, and so that's now. I think those days it used to be. Now I think now it will be very safe for investor to invest in India, and I would recommend them to choose a right builder, a right project, and also go to a good agency to advise, and also go to a bank. So bank has good infrastructure in Hyderabad and or India, not Hyderabad, and they do a good check. And plus, after they fund the project, also they will be involved in it because their money is also there in the project. So I think all these things will take care of the concerns of non-resident Indians.
Sure. Yeah. No, I heard from Sandeep ji also. She was mentioning that the banks can take care of that. Sandeep ji, one question in particular, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is that any NRI, when they are to invest in India, they have to do the transaction through their NRI or NRO accounts. The fund flow has to go through those accounts. So are there any other ways to do it outside those? Because at times that becomes itself a process to open all those accounts and channelize the funding. So is there anything that is available?
No, so you're right, Pramodji. I think because of the FEMA regulations and the Reserve Bank of India has a lot of controls over in terms of what foreign currency comes in and what goes out. So these transactions need to be done through the customer's NRE, NRO accounts. And to just take care of this issue of whole rules and procedures around these accounts also, to the extent feasible, we have made digital. So anybody planning to open any account in India for any kind of remittance purposes can be opened sitting in Canada. So you don't need to go to India. Any changes, if somebody is having, I see a lot of customers having accounts with public sector banks. and they don't have online access. They don't know how that account is there. They are dormant in nature sometimes. So I will encourage all of you to please talk to us, and we can move these accounts to ICCC, where you will have a full online access and a dedicated account manager from India, as well as somebody in Canada to take care of this. So I think a lot of things can be taken care of if you are with the right partner.
Thank you. Mr. Ghai, if I can ask you, we talked about residential real estate. I think primary focus of all the investment that we have seen or heard is mostly focus on residential side. But we do understand India is a growing market, and we talk about commercial. We briefly touched upon, I think few of you touched upon the commercial side as well, and the real estate being developed. So how do you see that market? And is there any sustained focus on exploring the investment on the commercial real estate side? And then, as we were talking about just the second part briefly, uh, you said 6% is the current level of Canadian investment in real estate, NRI real estate investment in India. So do we have the numbers? How much is residential and commercial?
So to answer your second part first, I don't have a numbers breakup of the numbers in terms of what you're asking for. Definitely go there and get back to you on that. As we talked about the commercial assets, commercial office space, within the commercial office space assets are the big contributor or big place where a lot of investors are investing in. And as I've shared in my slide also that it accounted for almost 46% of investment last year alone. So almost 2.8 billion has gone into commercial office assets space, primarily through a large pension funds and REIT funds who are acquiring such income generating assets because they contribute to their bottom lines because they get a good rental income from the office space. That is a very upcoming or growing market because what we have seen in the last few years in India, the commercial real estate has not participated in the growth or I would say appreciation to a larger extent. So it has been laggard. But now I think in the last and because of that, the supply has been limited because the focus of realtors has shifted to residential in the last decade or so. But now, because of that, there is the supply demand equation is moving in favor of office space back as we see a lot of global companies moving to India. Apart from the COVID situation that we are in, I still feel this is a temporary blip that we're gonna see that we are moved to work from home and everything is fine. But eventually, I think in long run, we will witness that the trend going back to office and will emerge. And that is where I think there is still a good potential for investors who are seeking investment in India to look at some good real estate on the commercial office space. And like Sandeep also highlighted it quite relatively, like a lot of pension funds just follow where these pension funds are moving their money in. And like I said, 46% of their money has gone into commercial office space. Why categorically see that as a big potential return generator for investors in particular going ahead.
Thank you.
If I may
I
come
know
in,
running behind time and a lot of questions coming in, but let me take one or two more if everybody is okay. Sunil, I'll come to you. The two things, quick short answers on both. Uh, Here, when we talk about real estate transactions, say in the Canadian landscape, everybody can figure out that okay, the closing costs or other incidental costs when you're selling and buying. So the purchase is it averages between 1.5% to 2%. I mean the land, whether it is we call land transfer tax or stamp duty, registration, legals, and all that. So my question is like, yes, I understand it varies between state to state in India, and circle rates and different things. So it could, but if you can broadly give a range as to what somebody can expect, I mean, just one. And secondly, a bigger piece. I mean, there was an announcement I think a day or two back that now J&K is open for land acquisition or property buying. So that might invoke a lot of interest from people to look at opportunities in J&K. So what's your take on that, and how soon can that happen on the ground? So briefly, we can just respond to those, and you have to unmute yourself, please.
this question is for me.
Yes, Sunil.
Yeah. So good news is that recently in Maharashtra, the stamp duty has been brought from 6% to 2%. So because property prices are very high in Mumbai, and this 4% relief is a great relief, actually. Um, cost of transactions are coming down, and the way Sandeep ji explained, most of it is getting online now. So time and cost will be coming down in India. Generally, it's 5 to 6% kind of a transaction cost, but most of it is being negotiated with builders because in many of the cases, we are mostly talking about buying physical properties, residential, commercial. Although I am of the view that there are a lot of derivatives to it, and a lot of options should be there, which should be explored for non-physical investment, like I said, REIT, and then AIF, and then many other financial investments are there. But in case of physical buying, uh, there are a few states where you need not to pay stamp duties upfront. So, for example, in Rajasthan, you can be buying it and then you can be paying it uh, at the end of the transaction when you are getting the possession. But that is not worry to the investor or customer now, because in most of the cases, builder is supporting. He is adjusting all these cost of transaction uh, with the price, right? So this is answer to first question. And secondly, in JNK, the announcement is great. Everybody is excited, but I hope, what I feel is that it should take some time uh, to see the things rolling. And but the best time now is to start searching for. So start, because it takes time. It's a property investment or investment in real estate. It takes time. So if you are tempted against all these options and propositions, not less than 3 to 6 months time is taken for converting into transaction. So I feel this is good time. Good things are coming up. Worst is over.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sunil. Mr. Ghai, one question to you, and this is coming from a lot of questions that I see on Facebook. So I'm just coming to you for one. So Indians, those who are interested in similar ventures or investments in Canada. So what are the options? Quickly, on just briefly, if you want to touch base on what could be the option, how can those be done? And maybe Sandeep ji can add later on to what you would say.
At Sotheby's Canada, we look for specific requirements of clients who are looking at primarily investing into Canada from India and other jobs. So, and of course, their primary focus is into getting a rental yield kind of a product, if possible. And as we speak, the rental yields in Canada currently is on a residential side. If we start with residential side, it starts from anywhere from 2.5% to about 3.5, 4%, which is quite high as compared to India. Because if I remember correctly, in India, the rental yields are between 1 to 2% on the residential side. So we are almost double of that in Canada. That's one. On the commercial side, the rental yield in downtown, if we talk about any metro cities like Toronto, for instance, for example, the rental yields in core downtown is anywhere from 3.5, 4% to 5.5%. But as we move far from Toronto, or if we go to GTA, the rental yields go slightly better, and it moves into 6 or 7%. Or if we move further, I've seen some options giving 8 to 9% kind of a rental yield on a commercial assets. So that is where we are getting a lot of interest. Other than that, we are getting a lot of interest in people in wanted to invest into recreational properties. Like we have places and like Blue Mountain, to give you one example. Rest of the Toronto. So there are chalets which are for short-term rental. So we are getting a good interest of people wanting to invest there, and we have products which are offering as high as 7% kind of a return on a short-term rental accommodation without any hassle, where the developer himself is managing the end product, or giving it on the short-term rental. So it's a mixed bag. So we are getting a good potential references for clients who are looking from that. And at the same time, on the reverse side, we are getting a lot of keen interest of people wanted to look at senior housing as an investment in Canada initially, and then they want to take the same model back in India, because I believe there is a lot of demand for a market there for in India, where there is hardly any senior residents living apart from one or two marquee names who started. So this kind of transactions that we are involved into, where we are getting people here, we are investing into senior living here to get an experience, and then taking that brand back to India and start exploring possibility of setting up senior residences back in India.
Thank you, Pawan ji. Sandeep ji, if you want to add.
Yeah, Pramod, just adding to what Pawan said. See, the Indians interested in buying properties here, both residential, commercial. I think there are underwriting guidelines which are available, where you can qualify based on your Indian income. So, if you are a tax filing citizen in India, you can qualify based on a request for a property, and we can underwrite you here in Canada. But I think there are certain rules in terms of you need to have some ID documentation from a Canadian perspective. So you need to have either a Canadian citizenship or a PR card or a visa issued by the Canadian embassy. So there are certain norms around it. But I think from a funding perspective, for the right customer, I don't think so there is any constraint.
Thank you, sir. I think we have run already quite a bit overboard. So thank you from my side for all of you interacting with me and answering these questions. I'll hand it over back to Vijay to take us through the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pramodji. Thank you, everybody. I think it's been a fantastic discussion. We even talked about topical issues. We talked about how to buy property in Kashmir, something really hot off the press. So I think we've covered it all. And I think we even covered, Indian citizens wanting to buy property in Canada. So I think it's been a lot that we've been able to put together here. And thank you very much to the panel. Also, would like to thank our technology partner Tangentia for helping us put this whole event, the Thursday Talks season, and also today's event. Moving on, we'd also like to thank our annual sponsors, Turkish Airlines, TD Bank, bronze sponsor by Peter and Paul's. We thank our sector sponsors, RBC, TELUS, Raymond James, GT20s, SBI, Canada Bank, Seneca, and ICCC Bank, and our media partners, VNN, Weekly Note Voice, Y Media, and PDC Punjabi. We also like to thank all of you in the audience, those of you on Facebook and those of you on Zoom. Thank you very much. Those of you who have joined us for the first time today, welcome, and I'd like to see you at more of these Thursday Talk webinars. And at the last minute, again, I want to thank all of you. And Pramodji, if you want to have any last, the last words on this one, over to you.
Thank you, Vijay. On behalf of the chamber, its board and members, I sincerely thank each one of you for having taken the time today and connecting with our members and audiences in terms of responding to their questions and throwing some clarity on the real estate side in terms of investment, both whether it is in India or Canada. So much appreciated. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot.